Ein herzliches Willkommen zurück zu The Forgotten City. So, es ist einiges jetzt schon passiert. Wir haben den goldenen Bogen, können eigentlich jetzt auch in die, wie heißt das, Szene? Jetzt rede ich nochmal mit ihr.
Arve again. Did you find what you need? Interesting. I'm not sure why you're telling me, but you've come to the right person. Did you find a pattern then? What have you noticed?
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Schon gedacht habe, ich kann nichts auswählen.
Were carried here by a river current. What else? That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. What else? Yes, I also had such an encounter. It's as I
Gute
feared.
Karen.
I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. Let me ask you this. Did you happen to encounter a stranger in the forest before you arrived here? And did you happen to catch her name?
Ja.
I see. And
Äh.
was this Karen by any chance wearing
Hatte
a
die eine
hood?
Kapuze?
Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see.
Oh.
I think you'd better follow me to the baths. But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Ja, ich halte Abstand. Wo ist eigentlich dieser Penner, der mich da eingesperrt hat, mit dem habe ich auch noch eine Rechnung offen. Ja, ohne die können sie die Wahl eh nicht abhalten, also alles cool. Warum ist die Schale hier nicht an? Ein bisschen mehr rein. Nach mir. Ja, jetzt weiß ich halt nicht, ob das hier eine war. Ich kann es mir nicht vorstellen. So. Ja, ups. Bin mal gespannt.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp.
Oh.
Do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N.
Ah, das sagt mir was.
Charon,
Ah,
the
ja.
ferryman of the dead.
Oh.
Charon, who in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the
Okay,
land
das ist ja
of the
cool.
living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
There are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
Also bin ich tot. Echt?
I'm afraid so.
Oh.
It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments.
Okay, jetzt macht das
It also
alles Sinn.
tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions. So, I'll try to answer them if I can.
Ja, und jetzt? Jetzt bin ich ein
That
bisschen
was my
verwirrt.
first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks. To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Krass.
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a
Das
coin
kleine
for
Ding
payment
kann ja
for
nicht die
passage
Hölle
across
sein.
the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not. No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help, I promise you. Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus,
Orpheus,
a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra. And Aeneas, a Trojan
Aeneas?
hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options. To confront the god of the underworld
Okay,
head on,
cool.
or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide. All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril. It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the
Jetzt ergibt es auch Sinn, warum die Leute da nicht hochkamen.
big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried. Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the golden rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod.
Da
Forgive
hast
my
du recht.
candor, but you are no Hercules.
Okay. Ja, das
Are
stimmt
you
auch
telling
nicht.
me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed,
Nee,
but
hab
there
ich
are
nicht
4
gesehen.
plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine
War
keeper.
das?
If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again. It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Okay.
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque. I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum. Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared.
Es ist
weeks
natürlich
ago.
dumm.
But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
Blöde Kuh hat schon 1000.
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps finding the other 3 will illuminate the way.
Okay.
As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage. If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels? Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say? Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out? Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread through this labyrinth.
Okay.
All right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone. In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Krass. Okay. Haben wir echt wieder Sachen erfahren. Spannend. Boah, ich finde das Spiel schon geil. Das hat schon was. Hat richtig Laune. Die Story ist echt cool. Wartet gegen die Strömung. Gab es da eine Strömung? Nee. Wartet gegen die Strömung. So, jetzt lädt's wieder. Okay. Jetzt ist halt die Frage. Komm, wir sprechen mit unserem griechischen Freund, der nicht da ist. War doch hier, oder? Ah ne, der war hier. Achso, und ihm kann ich doch auch noch sagen, dass...
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think,
Okay.
whatever is in... Welcome back.
Wieso?
Nice to talk to you.
Das verstehe ich nicht. Warum habe ich dann hier noch... Wo war denn das? Das hier. Ich habe doch die Belästigung... Oh, naja, griechischer Freund, Georgios. Erzähl mir mal was.
Traveler from greetings. I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst.
Achso,
We
der
must stick together, you and
ein
I.
neues Gespräch.
My friend, your words intrigue me more and more. But yes, very well. Ask me what you will. And in a city full of Romans, you are asking me? Because I am Greek. Let me tell you something about Greeks and Romans. My name is Georgios, yes. But the Romans, they do not care. They hear me say Georgios, and they think, ah, he must mean Georgius. Good Roman name. They do this all the time. They see us worshipping Zeus, they copy us, but call him Jupiter. They take Hades and call him Pluto, Persephone, Proserpina. I am flattered that they copy our ideas, but why must they change the names? Do they want credit for making it all up? Do they want to forget where it came from?
Das habe ich mich auch
I
immer
pull my
gefragt.
hair out. After a while, I give up, and I become Georgius the Roman. I accept the world is Roman now. Plus, I have no hair left to pull.
Witzbund.
But my point is this. If you want to know who stole an old Greek name, look no further than the sticky-fingered Romans. The plague you seek was pilfered from a collection of old Greek relics
Ah,
by none
toll.
other than Duli. He cannot help it. Like a typical Roman, he likes shiny things, especially those that once belonged to my people. And besides, it makes him happy. So I say, let him keep it. I believe he still has it with him, in his cell, just opposite the Temple of
Er
Dimitri.
will erst befreit werden. Das ist
I
jetzt
hope
schon...
that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Mach's gut. Danke für den Hinweis, das war wichtig. Jetzt gucke ich nochmal, hier ist der Tempel. Das kennen wir ja schon. Sonst gab es ja keine Truhe. Sie lebt noch und wenn ich jetzt mit ihr spreche, stirbt sie. Also lassen wir das. Wird jetzt demnächst dunkel. Also gehen wir mal ganz kurz gegen die Strömung. Oh, es wird jetzt schnell dunkel. Jetzt schnell mit ihr reden, bevor es vorbei ist.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the
Weiß
world,
ich.
it does not. Say it. Speak its name. Then it is true. I was right. I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it?
Klar.
I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives. And still others incur punishment. I hope I have done it justice, and now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Na toll, keine Belohnung. Okay, jetzt gucke ich mal schnell, ob ich da von diesem Kieser... Nee, nicht Wergistruhe. Warte mal, vielleicht... Abaddon oder irgendwie... Ich weiß nicht mehr, wie er hieß. Wie ist denn der Gute? Geht's ja auch nicht. Sehr komisch, aber gut. Und da sind schon wieder alle Party machen hier. Weiter. Traumtagebuch, das haben wir glaube ich schon gelesen, aber... Oder warte nochmal. Okay. Hier ist ein Zimmer. Ich finde hier nichts. Außer dieser komische Zettel. Obwohl, warte mal. Nein, es geht nicht. Das würde ich gern so richtig lesen, aber naja. Okay, dann muss ich ihn wohl finden, so wie es aussieht. wir mal hier, mit wem wollte ich noch
All
sprechen?
weapons are to be tossed into the
Rufus
cavern.
wollte ich eigentlich
Magistrate's
reden.
orders.
Name's Rufius.
Ja, das weiß ich schon, mein Freund.
No idea what you're talking about. What? That was Galerius, not you. Oh. He got it from you? I guess you did help me then. Huh. I think I have seen that plaque. Sorry I lied. Can't be too careful these days. Head into the caves behind the theater. Turn right, then right again. Oh, and here. You'll need this key.
Okay, nehme ich.
You didn't get that from me. See you around.
Also, haben wir auch. Nee, du Sack.
Oh, hello there, partner. I'm glad you're here. I think there might have been some confusion about my little practical joke earlier. You see, my plan was to give you a little fright. You know, like two friends joking around at the Saturnalia, and then surprise, I'd open the door. But when I opened it, you were gone. Partner, there's no need for threats. Yeah, well, I don't have to listen to this. Get lost. Don't even talk to me.
Okay, shit. Ich gehofft, ich kann etwas...
What now? All right.
Citizen.
Please keep an eye out.
Handsome.
Ja,
Oh, do us all a favour and drink hemlock, cat murder.
ja, ich liebe dich auch. Nehmen wir mal schnell nach hier.
You stay away from my money.
Wo ist denn ihr Schlüssel? Das würde mich auch mal interessieren.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Jo, das habe ich mit Absicht gemacht. War ja hier eh in der Nähe. Oh shit! Ach so. Oh Gott. Hä? Oh, die weicht aus. Okay. Mach das Ding auf! Okay, jetzt habe ich den Schlüssel schon mal. Weil es war ja jetzt eh gegen Ende. Und jetzt wäre eh demnächst Wahl gewesen. Deswegen fand ich das eigentlich recht hilfreich. Wunderbar. Aber dann würde ich sagen, sind wir jetzt am Ende dieser Folge angelangt. Ich sage ein herzliches Dankeschön fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.